Hello, beautiful people. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we live? Are we live? We're live! Hello, everybody, and welcome. I can see that I've got lots of people coming into the room on Zoom, which is very, very exciting. Hello, Anastasia. Hello, Hilda. Hello, Jane. Hello, Joanne. Hello, Maureen. Hello, Scott. Hello, Nontando. Hello, Thomas. And I can see lots of people tuning in on Instagram as well. Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome. I'm Susanna Kennedy, and I just want to find my co-host today, Scott. He has just entered the room, and I'm going to give him co-host status so that he can join in with us today and be on this journey side by side with me. I'm really, really excited to have Scott with me because I spoke with Scott recently at the Real Success Summit. It was the live event. It was Real Success South Africa. And I absolutely loved sharing the stage with Scott. It was absolutely my best. He is a profoundly authentic human being who truly has the vision and the desire to empower people financially. And when I met Scott years ago, we shared the stage with him, and Anastasia, I need you to be on admitting the people into the room so that they don't stay on the screen long, please, my angel. And when I met Scott years ago, there was definitely already a connection between me and Scott. And we were aligned already in vision, but the years passed and we didn't see each other for a little gap. And then all of a sudden we saw each other again. And it was like, boom, yes, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see how great it is. And I want to support you. And so he's being very kind. I was very privileged to interview him at Real Success on the stage in front of all of those thousands of people. And now Scott is here today to chat to me and ask me some questions, which I feel very, very honored to have him here. So Scott Picken, he's from Wealth Hackers, and he's trying to empower people financially, but also I think all-round empowerment. I don't think it just ends with finances. I think it maybe started with finances and it's just evolved and evolved and evolved. So Scott, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. And just two things before we get started. Well, three things actually. Firstly, thanks very much for the kind intro. Deeply appreciate it. And yeah, really excited to be doing this with you. I fundamentally believe that what we're about to share with people is as aligned with wealth as virtually anything else. Because if you're not happy, what's the point? But just before we go there, two things. One is in the group, there's a whole bunch of people asking for the links. So I don't know if you want to just in the Wealth Hacker group, basically. And the other one is I just want to check your recording.
I am recording. It's hard for me to get in the group because I'm going live on Instagram. Are you able to share the
Okay,
link?
no problem. I'll do it. So can I share the link that you shared with me?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, no
That's
problem.
absolutely
Okay,
perfect.
let me
And
just
then
do
for
that
all
quickly
of
and
you
then.
on Instagram, I do see you. Good morning. Hello, Saskia. Hello, Hash. Hello, Idri. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Gabby. Hello, Monica. Hello, Tracy. Hello, John. Hello, Donald. I wish I could say hello to absolutely every single one of you, but please know that I do see you. We are going live through Instagram and Zoom, and we've got a lovely group of people from Wealth Hackers, from Scott's group, that are joining us. Hello, Chantal. Hi. And today we're going to be speaking about really the relationship between how without healing mind, body, and spirit, and creating that equilibrium and really stepping into a version of yourself that knows that you deserve all of these beautiful things that life has to offer, you can really self-sabotage when beautiful things come your way. So I am so excited to chat to Scott because I know that Scott has not only done a lot of work within the wealth industry, but he's really done a lot of personal work as well. And I'm dying to know what your questions are, Scott. For those of you that do know me, you know that I'm a transformational facilitator. And what that means is I really work with the individual, whatever you need, and I take you away from the things that are blocking you from experiencing your most authentically aligned, empowered version of yourself and stepping into that. And that really is not a recreation of yourself, but it's a coming home to who you really are, to your true essence, to the truth of what you are, which is a limitless human being, absolutely limitless and pure, unconditional love. That's what you are. So I'm really aligned. Why are you laughing at me, Scott?
I've got you on letting the people into the room. You just focus on you. I'll fly the airplane. You focus on chatting.
I'm just seeing them pop up, and I'm like,
That's
somebody
fine.
let
That's
them
fine.
in.
That's fine. I'm letting them in. It's all
Anastasia
good.
is there, but I think my finger work is just being quicker than hers today. But that's what we are. We are beings that are actually made of unconditional love. And so I want to return you to that space of knowing that you are unlimited. You can heal yourself. You can co-create the life that you really want to live. And you can really be a version of yourself, which is actually your authentic version of yourself that you truly love completely and honor that version of yourself. So yeah, Scott, tell me what the questions are that you have today. Anastasia, are you with us? Just give me
It's
a
all good. It's all good. I got it. I got
Hi,
it.
yes, I'm here.
okay, great. If you can just be on the finger and letting people in as soon as that pops up, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, so I am here. I just don't know if there's a bit of a delay with my internet, but as soon as those names pop up on my phone, I'm like clicking like admit,
Okay.
admit, admit.
All right. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So I think what I'd like to do just to start off with, Susanna, is to set a bit of context for everyone. So I think there's two things here that are really important. So the first one is that, and I don't want to make this about me, but just in terms of my own personal journey over the last 5 years, I've always been very much about going out there, getting results, taking on the world, empowering 1 billion people. You name the crazy goal, I've done it. Running comrades, climbing Killy, everything. But what I didn't do, it was always outwards. It was always more goals, more success, more doing. And in the last couple of years, I realized the power in going within and actually doing the hard work. And I joke with people, but running Killy, running comrades and climbing Killy and all of that type of stuff is admirable, but actually doing the self-healing work is a lot harder, which is why we all avoid it. So I just kind of wanted to kind of start with that. And again, I don't want to make this about me, but what the profound shift that I've had over the last 2 or 3 years, and you and I know I'm doing one later this evening, a talk, and I was trying to think about what are the top 10 biggest things I've learned in personal development. And number 6 is exactly this point, which is that if you don't work on yourself, if you don't work on your inner healing, your trauma, and by the way, we all got trauma in our childhood, then you're never actually going to fly to the level of potential that you have the potential to be. And, I think that you and I both resonate with living an extraordinary life. And, what does extraordinary mean? Well, it's living life in abundance on all means, whether it's wealth, health, relationships, love, everything in between. But to do that, you've got to be the best version of yourself to start off with. So I just wanted to kind of set that context because that's why I wanted to share this with our community, but equally why I'm so passionate about what you do, because that's what you specialize in, is helping people find their authentic self to deal with. And some people think of it like a negativity thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to deal with my trauma. No, we all got trauma. And if you don't deal with it, you're never going to fly. It's like a hot air balloon with a whole bunch of, weights, like it can't take off the ground. And even if it does take off, it's never hovering to its full potential because it's got all these things holding it back. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, which is why I am so excited about what you do, and we're going to get into it now, is the testimonials you sent me. So we literally sat the night before we were presenting, and you sent me some testimonials. And to be honest, I had no idea what you did. Like, I knew it was something to do with energy and stuff. Like, no disrespect, but like, I'm going to put it in like the woo-woo bucket. And I was like, and then I watched these testimonials from people, and I was like, wow, like these people, like, people give you a testimonial if you ask them nicely, and it's like, Susanna's quite nice and blah, blah, blah. But when they literally you can feel it, you can see it in their energy and everything else. And I watched like 2 or 3 testimonials, and I saw you the next day, and I was like, Susanna, what exactly do you do? Because I want whatever they have. Okay. And for me, that's the essence of what this conversation is about, because the one challenge when someone presents, and by the way, you've done the opposite for me in a good way, which is where we present and we kind of tell people lots of stuff and we tell them our life story. But sometimes people don't get to the essence of what it is actually that it's about and what is the outcome that they get. And so I'd love to start off with, asking the question of explaining what is, and if I pronounce it wrong, I apologize, I'm not Japanese, but what is Kintsukuroi Me? What does that actually mean? What is the essence of it? Because it's the whole underlying essence of what this whole course is about and who you are and what you do. And I think let's start right there before we kind of go into, how, what, where, because we're gonna focus on what does the name mean, and then I want to get into the why.
So I love that you shared that, by the way. And Scott, I don't mind you speaking about yourself and what you've been through and what led you to be excited about this, because I think it's so relevant when people do that, because you acknowledge that this is what everybody needs. And this is one of the struggles that I have. It's not a bad struggle to have, but this is one of the struggles that I have, is when I meet with marketers and things like that, they're like, who is your target market? And I'm like, humans, because we've all been through stuff. And whenever I do a talk, without fail, if I have a live audience or whether I'm online, I will have people of all different ages, all different faiths, all different backgrounds coming and crying on my shoulder or connecting with me and saying that they resonated. And the reason why is because we're human. And what I speak to is the human journey. And the human journey is a deep, profound journey of coming back to the self. When we are born, we come out these little bubbles of love, right? I mean, remember when you were a little baby and everyone would just go, oh, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so beautiful. And everybody would just think you were the best thing in the world. And even when you pooed, guys, your mom would go, oh, look, you made a poo, good job. Everything was good. And then as you grow up, there's these layers of shame that suddenly arrive, because at some point it's like, no, don't poo. No, you can't do it like that. No, don't do it like that. No, you're greedy. And all of a sudden there's this shame that starts building, and these little things that happen in our lives to start creating like these little barriers of judgment upon ourselves. And we create a story about that, and that creates a wounding. And remember, it's never really exactly what happened, but it's how you felt about what happened, and then the story that you told yourself with it, which then created the belief that you've got about what happened. And it's so interesting for me, because there's so many people that teach that you are the creator of your reality. How many of you have heard you are the creator of your reality? Just like, yes, right? So many of us, we get told, yes, I am the creator of my own reality. But the reality is we're not the creators of our reality. Sorry to blow your little bubble, but we are the co-creators of our reality, right? So when we are, because I work with the spiritual world and I understand this, when we are just this divine light, this divine essence, and we decide that we are going to come down into physical form, there are certain soul contracts that are formed that we create in order to help the universe expand in consciousness. I'm trying to word it as simply as possible so that we can all understand it. So we make these contracts with different soul family members, and we come down for specific experiences. And one of the things that I find so relieving, because school was quite a harsh place for me. First of all, I was having all of these these crazy things happening to me that nothing else was happening. These things were not happening to other people. So I saw auras and I saw spirits and I felt spirits and I could feel energy, and nobody else was experiencing this. So I would bounce along and go, wow, look at your color. It's so blue today. And I'd be so excited to be seeing the bright blue that was around someone. And they'd be like, okay, you weird little kid, And then to add to that, I was dyslexic. I was very, very dyslexic. And so school was a bit of a challenging space for me. I felt like a little lone wolf. I didn't really fit in. And then I was dyslexic, but I was super clever, guys. So I would cover it up. So they only picked up that I was dyslexic like much later. And it was only much later on that I started embracing all of these aspects of myself and started working with all of these aspects of myself and understanding that all of us have the ability. And I want you guys to know this as well. You know, when somebody says I'm an empath, we're all empaths. Each and every one of us are empaths to varying degrees. That's all it is. It's the same as I might have the ability to have visions of what things are going to happen, like different things that are going to happen. Or, you know, when I connect to your divine team and they can give me messages. But the reality is that all of us can do this. It's about practice and it's about us opening ourselves to this side of the world. And because it's just part of the energy web, right? We are all part of the energy web. We are all part of all that is. And I actually shared, if you guys didn't catch my spiritual medicine session on Wednesday, I will send you a replay because I give you, like, for a long time, I could see how we were all connected and I got all these visions and I got shown, but I didn't have like proof of it. And for years and years, I kept researching. I'm a little studaholic. I love researching. And eventually I found psychologists like that were very much science-based psychologists who did studies and researches and started proving all of the theories that I had seen and experienced. And we are absolutely all connected. We are not a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop. And so we are all here to support each other on this conscious evolution that rises us up. And what Scott was speaking to earlier on was, you know, that you can do all the work to bring in the material things, to bring in the job and the this and the that and the that. But if you're not happy within yourself, it doesn't mean that much. You can be the richest person in the world. And if you're not happy, then what is that? Like, what is the value of that? And there's this terrible saying. Tell me if you guys know this saying. No one will love you until you learn to love yourself. Does anybody believe that, first of all? No one will love you until you learn to love yourself. Just say
Well,
yes.
unfortunately, I only learned that at the age of 47. It would have been quite helpful to have learned that when I was like 2.
So do you believe that's true, Scott?
It's the only way to do it. So I actually have a sign on my door that says, you see, now I can't even remember it. It's like, say, like, block it out. But it's basically like, if you want to, so for me, I would like to create an extraordinary love relationship. But if I want to, I have to create an extraordinary love relationship with myself first before I can manifest it out there in the outside world. And yeah, so I 100% buy it, but I only learned it this year. And I kind of pissed off that someone didn't teach it to me 45 years ago.
So I want to reframe that for you. So the saying is, no one will love you until you love yourself. And for me, I believe that's a very disempowering belief because I know a lot of people that do not love themselves, that other people love them fiercely. They love them fiercely. But the problem is when you don't love yourself, and this is the little catch here, you don't know how to receive the love that's being given to you. And so you don't know how to feel it. And so you will actually repel it and you will actually push it away. Have you ever tried to love someone who does not love themselves? It's a lot of hard work, right? Scott, I'm sure you've experienced that before.
No, completely. And I think to some extent, like I really resonate with what you're saying. And ironically, I don't think we're worlds apart because it's, even if someone's loving you and you don't love yourself, what I'm hearing you say is you don't feel it, you don't embrace it, and therefore it's you don't feel worthy of it in simple terms. You know what I mean? So for me, and if you don't feel worthy of something, then whether it's money or love, it's what's the point of having it anyway, you know?
Perfect. Hilda is saying, yes, I like how you've put it. Yes, Hilda, thank you. Because I really want you to know that if you don't love yourself, or if there's an aspect of you that doesn't feel deserving of the things that you really want to experience in your life, that you really want to have in your life, I'm sharing this with you because it's so possible to shift those things and heal those things. So Kintsukuroi Me, that's how you say it, Scott. Kintsukuroi Me is a
Listen, I can barely speak English, so I don't actually speak Japanese, like.
it's a Japanese art. And why I love it is because in the West, if something breaks, right, we've been taught that we throw it away, that it's no longer valuable, which is really a huge thing to put onto us as individuals, guys. Like growing up thinking that if something is broken, it's not valuable and you throw it away. That's a terrible subconscious message that we are grounding into ourselves. Now, I love in the East that they say if something is broken like that, you take it, you take all of its little pieces and you get gold. Not even something cheap, you get gold. And you gild that object back together with gold, with love and with care. And they believe that that object is so much more valuable than it was before it was broken. And I love this concept because I believe that every single crack, every single trauma, every single thing that has happened in your life that has made you feel broken, if you have the courage, the compassion, and the love to mend it back together, those are the very things that are going to make you uniquely a beautiful gift for the world in a completely different way than you ever would have been without those things happening to you. Does that make sense to you guys? Please let me know if that resonates. Tumelo says, penny dropped. The trick is in receiving. Yes, the love to balance the giving and from an authentic place. Yes. It's how do we do that? Yes, I love that. Yes, I love that. Yes, I love that. Oh, that's great. Good. I'm so, so glad. So that is my course. It's a 7-week course, and I take you through a journey. I don't know, Scott, you guys haven't seen any of my talks before, have you? Do you know
Right,
any?
so let's take a couple of steps back
Okay,
before we go
go.
there, basically. So I don't want to kind of waste people's time today, but what I would like, with your permission, is those 3 testimonials you shared with me, and I know you got the long version and the short version. Just type in the chat box whether people want long or short. I'll be interested. The long is like maybe 15 minutes, Suzanne, and the short is like 5 minutes. But what I'd like to do, with your permission, is to post those into the Wealth Hacker group so that people can go and watch them afterwards. Because I really think, I mean, the reason I'm here is, and it's so interesting because I've already signed up to the course, I've already committed to doing it, and I don't even know what I'm doing yet. And that's why we're having this conversation. But the reason I'm doing it is because of the testimonials. There's 2 reasons I'm doing it. One is that this year I've really embarked really strongly. I've done a hell of a lot of personal healing and journey work, etc. And I thought this would be an incredible way to end off the year. So we'll go into the details now, but effectively it's 7 weeks up to the end of the year. Like, really set yourself up for a life of fulfillment and understanding yourself and being able to take off and fly going into 2025. So that's the first reason. At a selfish personal level, I want to do that. And the second thing was, when I watched those testimonials, I was like, and I've said it already, but like, I want that. Whatever they did, I want that. So I do want to share the testimonials with people, because I think it'd be very valuable for people to see that and to kind of get it. So we'll put it in the Wealth Hacker group, but we'll put it, in the university group as well, so people can access it. But what I'd love to know is, talk to us about the journey that someone goes on, because you've created this course. We'll come back to even who you are and everything else. But for me, what most people in life are sitting here thinking, what's in it for me? Okay, so before they worry about who's Scott or who's Susanna, they don't actually care about us, no disrespect. But it's like, what's in it for me? Like, why am I doing it? What am I going to get out of it after 7 weeks? We'll get into the how and the what, but let's start with the why. Why do I do it? What will I feel at Christmas if I do the course? And what will I feel at Christmas if I don't feel the course?
Well, I don't know what you'll do at Christmas if you don't do the course. You'll probably feel similar to how you're feeling now about whatever you're feeling. But what I do know is that, so the course takes you on my healing journey and what I learned along my healing journey. We all go through the dark night of the soul at different times in our lives. And what the dark night of the soul really is, so many people are scared of the dark night of the soul. because the dark night of the soul is going through that dark space where you are really questioning everything, where you're really reshuffling everything, where you're really looking at what is not working in your life, and you can see what is not working in your life, and you often don't know what to do in order to make things work in your life. That next step. And a lot of people feel like when they are in the dark night of the soul, they are buried. If you can just imagine being like buried deep in the earth. And for me, that's where the seed gets to sprout. And so a lot of the shadow work that people do, which is meeting your shadow, the aspects of yourself that you are ashamed of, the aspects of yourself that you deny, the aspects of yourself that you disown, meeting your shadow, befriending your shadow, and integrating your shadow so that it can become your ally rather than something that persecutes you and that you persecute, right? And when you go into the dark night of the soul, it doesn't have to be this horrible journey. This is one of the things that I want people to understand is my entire course is based around how do I take you into these dark places, these challenging places, but in a way that's as gentle as possible, as supported as possible, and that allows you to understand that this is just a rebirth. This is where you are contracting in order to expand once again. And that's why we go through the dark night of the soul numerous times. So going through this journey will empower you to step into a space where you can move through challenges with less suffering, more ease, and you'll be able to also stand in a place where you truly accept and love and embody more of who you truly are. And I think that when we step into that space, it doesn't matter what life kind of throws at us because we're able to navigate it with more grace and more ease and more respect for ourselves, less self-abandoning of what we truly need. And when we do that, we actually step into a place of power because when we're self-abandoning, we're actually giving the world the wrong version of ourselves. Any recovering people pleasers here? I'm a recovering people pleaser. Anybody else recovering? Right? Recovering perfectionist, recovering people pleaser. You're not.
I've got an honors cum laude in people rescuing as well, you know.
There we go. Anyone else in the comments? Yes, yes, hearts going up. Yes, amen. Okay, so guys, this is a journey. I want you to understand that. Like, I love myself more than I've ever loved myself before, but I'm still learning to love myself more every day. I'm still learning. It's a practice. All of these things are a practice. So this is a launch pad into understanding how to navigate things with more gentleness, more grace, more ease, and coming back into yourself. But it is a practice. I've got students, Scott, that have done this course every year because they gain more. You just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And this time, guys, I've given myself no time to market it. So I think it's going to be a small group, which actually is a bonus for you guys because it means that you will get more time to speak to me. And there's a beautiful community that comes together. I've got individuals that made friends. They were accountability buddies in the first round that are still besties and Zoom each other, from different parts of the world every week. So you really create a tribe of like-minded, compassionate, caring human beings, which always excites me as well. Wow.
So, Susanna, just two things that I think are relevant there in terms of my takeaway and what you said is that life's going to happen. Like things are going to happen in your life, whatever. As Rocky Balboa says, it's sorry to bring the masculine energy to the table, but it's life's going to hit you in the face. Like it's guaranteed that things will happen in life. But what I like and my takeaway from listening to you and listening to the testimonials is that what you provide people with is a toolbox on how to love themselves in a happy and healthy way, no matter what happens. So the good and the bad, if that makes sense. And when I listened to the testimonials, and I got goosebumps saying this, was I had a whole bunch I listened to what they were saying, and there were a whole bunch of people that actually, like, they did the course, and then they still had things happen in their life, but they were able to handle them so much easier because of like like how they prepare themselves. So the kind of the two metaphors I come to mind with, and again, this is my own very simple way of trying to take what I've heard and put it in my own processing box. But the one is that it's a toolbox. So, and once I've done the course, it's a toolbox that I can have forever. Okay, but equally, the other metaphor is it's like going to gym. And if I go on a 7-week course and you give me the manual, like I can learn how to do the exercises, but unless I do them as a lifelong practice, like I'm not going to be fit. Like if that makes sense. So just it's the two slightly different metaphors, but the one is you're going to get the tools, but the second is you need to practice it on an ongoing basis. And one of the things I know you and I resonate with, and a whole bunch of people here are part of the community, is that most of these things are ongoing. Whether it's health or wealth or your spiritual journey or anything, there's no one size fits all. And so I just want to kind of pick up on what you said there, because it's really important, the power of community. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's some great research out there by Deepak Chopra that if you try and do something on your own, so as an example, I go to a self-help book and I go buy a book and I read it and I'm going to kind of change my life, the chances of getting a result are less than 50%. Okay, if I do it with a husband, a wife, a friend, partner, whatever, I got a 60% chance of success. Whereas if I do it in a like-minded community, which like a container that Susanna's creating with accountability partners, etc., I got a higher than 70% chance of success. And I'm sorry, this is that mathematical brain of mine coming in, but the point being is that if you look at the laws of nature, a bird flying in a flock can fly 70% further than a bird flying on its own. And I always say to people, do you think there's a correlation? And I 100% believe there is. And what I mean by that is that what Susanna's creating is a container. It's a journey for the rest of your life, but for the next 7 weeks, let's call it up to the festive season, you're going to join a container of like-minded people who are all going on this journey together. And the chances of succeeding are immeasurably higher than you're trying to do it on your own. And if anyone's the same as me, and I'm sure most of you are like this right now, it's the end of the year. You're tired. There's a lot on your plate. There's Christmas parties. There's how am I going to, what am I doing for the festive season? There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of things and a lot of pressure, a lot of stress to finish out the year. And I kind of paint two pictures, Susanna. That's why I asked you the question, because the one is people go into Christmas and they finish the year exactly what you just said, the same as they are now, anxious, concerned, another year's gone by, haven't made real significant progress. Why will next year be different? Oh, well, I tell you what, I'll hope and pray it's going to be different, but I know in my subconscious it's not because I've done nothing different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's alternative A. And alternative B is I do a 7-week course, I join a like-minded community, I create friendships for life, and I set myself with tools that next year, no matter what happens in the year, I can succeed and thrive and learn to love myself. And by loving yourself, there's lots of levels. So even if you love yourself, you can go to another level. And I just look at those two realities and it's like, well, okay, fine. Not exactly great. Like lots of pain on this side, lots of pleasure on this side. And that's where I'm just trying to paint a picture for people. And when you said you were doing the course and why I so strongly wanted to share it with our community, was I just thinking the time is perfect, because if you want to set yourself up, you're going to do your New Year's resolutions in January, but unless you've done something significantly different in this year of 2024, in your heart that next year is going to be no different.
So true. It's so
what are you going to do?
It's so true. It's so true. And Scott, you started by saying a lot of people avoid this work because they know they're avoiding the pain. They're avoiding looking at those aspects of themselves that need to be healed, need to be nurtured, need to be loved, need to be made whole again, brought back in. And I want to share something with you that, people avoid pain, right? Everybody, how many of you avoid pain? All of us avoid pain, right? All of us avoid pain as much as possible. But the processes that I teach you, yes, yeah, exactly. All of us avoid pain. But the processes that I teach you allow you to start moving through the pain quicker and quicker. And so that in itself is a tool to minimize suffering. My goal, guys, my entire goal in this world, my reason for being is to expand love and minimize suffering. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still alive, is to expand love and minimize suffering. So for those of you that are going, but I'm gonna have to like deal with pain and stuff. Yes, you will need to face aspects of pain, but what I can tell you is two things. Number one is that you will learn to move through that pain quicker and quicker and with more ease and more grace. And so it will minimize suffering, minimize suffering, minimize suffering, so that when that pain actually, when you're confronted with a situation that is painful, you will know exactly how to navigate that with grace. And that for me is invaluable. Like you can't replace that skill. The other thing that I want to really emphasize is that if you get a splinter in your toe, right? If you get a splinter in your toe, if it gets lodged too deep and you can't get it out with tweezers like instantly, a lot of people will just put like a plaster on it and leave it for a few days because they think, oh, it's going to come out, right? And you leave it there. But have you noticed that when that happens, every door, every corner of anything, you just keep bumping that toe into that surface, right? Because it's the universe going, hey, excuse me, there's a splinter in your toe. You need to take that splinter out your toe. Now, what most people do is they just keep putting more plasters over it because it's too sore to actually get a needle or a tweezers and dig that splinter out. So they just cover it with more plasters and more plasters and more plasters. But what happens is, because the universe loves us so much, it keeps sending you walls and surfaces for you to bang that toe on because it wants you to heal. It doesn't want you to have a pain inside you. It doesn't want you to have something in you that is causing you pain. And what happens over time, if you don't get that pin or that tweezer and dig that splinter out, is it becomes septic. And the universe will actually stop you in your tracks. And I wonder how many of you can resonate with that, where you eventually are in such a tight corner that you have to deal with whatever it is that you've been avoiding. I know I certainly have. And the universe can be pretty wild in its love for you guys, right? I don't want you to have to get to the point where you are stopped in your tracks. I want you to learn how to identify the splinter, and before you even need to put the plasters on, know how to take it out so that you can continue on your journey without carrying all of this unnecessary stuff. And yes, first we have to offload all the stuff. And that's why it's so great to do this at the end of the year as well, because you've accumulated a lot of stuff. Wouldn't it be nice to go into 2025 feeling so much lighter, right? And so much more equipped to deal with everything that you're about to manifest? Because at the beginning of, I haven't decided yet, Scott, we need to speak about it, but the next course I'm doing is my mini manifestation course, which is all about co-creating all of the beautiful, delicious things that you want in your life. And it's so perfect to come after Kintsukuroi Me, because that's where we've released. And so we've made space. You know that saying, you can't put a Ferrari in a garage that has a beat up Beetle. You have to take the beat up Beetle out the garage, then you can put the Ferrari in the garage. And so what I want to help you do with Kintsukuroi Me is take the Beetle out the garage, create the most beautiful environment so that whatever you want to park in that garage has the space to be there. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah.
Could I share something with you? Could I share something with you quickly? So I don't know if I'm allowed to share screens here. Can I share quickly?
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I can, yeah. So there's this saying that I love, and I didn't understand it for a long time, but it sums up to me what you are, basically what you're teaching people and what you're helping people with. Because the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. And I find it so fascinating because for me personally, like I read the words, but I didn't understand it for decades. And things like happiness and fulfillment, and even when you say manifesting, it's all good and well. And back to your metaphor of the Ferrari in the garage, like you had to do the work first to get rid of the beat up Beetle. But the very thing that most of us try and avoid is pain. In fact, statistically, we move 4 times more away from pain than we do towards pleasure. So we want pleasure. We want, Susanna and I discussed this. It was like, hey, we share with the community mini manifestation? It was like, yes, because everyone will sign up to that because it's beautiful and it's fun and it's funky. But the problem is, you won't get the proper results. Well, okay, you'll still get results, but you won't get them at the level of potential you can get them at unless you go in the cave and address the fear that, you know, because that's where the treasure lies. And that's why I love the order that you're doing it in, because you're allowing people to kind of go in that cave and to find the treasure. And once they've found the treasure, and once they kind of have the self-belief that they've found the treasure and dealt with the treasure, and, like, you know, all the fears that they've dealt with, then manifestation becomes easy, because then it's like, wow, well, there's no big fear, there's no big ugly ogre out there that can kind of take me on, you know. And that's for me. It's just, while you were talking, it's something that resonates a lot for me, because personally I didn't do it. You know, literally until a couple of years ago, I was like, no, avoid that pain. I tell you what, I'll work really hard, and I'll drink too much, and I'll do lots of sports, and I'll keep myself super busy, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Some call it numbing, if you really want to know. But the point being is that it was like, right, actually, you know, go and deal with it. And only then when I went in the cave, did I find the treasure. And this was the gift that I wanted to share with everyone in terms of what you're offering, because most people understand this intuitively. They're scared of it, but most importantly, they don't know what to do about it. And why I like what Susanna does is because this is her purpose. Okay, so one of the things that I love most in life is finding people that get to live their purpose. And watching you on stage, watching the testimonials, watching you live. I've been to a couple of your webinars. For me personally, it's like when someone's living their purpose, then I want to share that gift with the rest of the world, so that other people can get to benefit from it. So, you know, for me personally, everything we're talking about is logical to people. They all know it. They just don't know how to do it. Like, does that make sense? You know what I mean? And the part I like most about what you do is you're not only going to take people through the how, the what, and the when, but you're also going to take them with the who. And why I say the who is that you're with a tribe of like-minded people. So it is tough. I watch these men and women kind of doing their testimonials and stuff, and like, there's a lot of stuff and emotion that people deal with, but you're in a safe container, and I think that's incredibly important, you know, versus trying to do it on your own, you know. So I think my next question to you, Susanna, would be, if I was interested, and you know, just kind of walk me through roughly, like, what would the 7 weeks look like? What do I do? How does it work? How much time commitment is it to me? I want the outcome. Okay, we've already decided on that. Okay, so now what am I committing to, you know, in terms of that process, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Scott, I love what you're saying, and I love the honesty with which you approach all of this, because me too. I mean, I've been through the numbing phase. I think all of us have been through a phase of numbing and of doing things to distract ourselves, right? From actually putting on what I say, put on your big girl panties and your big boy underpants, you know, and stepping into the fire and actually dealing with what needs to be dealt with. And all of us have done it, right? Every single one of us. And I hope you guys are brave enough to say me too. Right? Have you guys done it? Say me too, because I know, okay, I've got hearts flying off on Instagram. Yeah, because we have. All of us have been there. Me too. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Hilda, for being honest. I really appreciate it. We've all been there. And I've always known, so I've got a very varied background, and this is important for you guys to understand, because there is magic, there's alchemy in storytelling. Right? That's why we love movies. That's why that's why stories are passed down from elders, down and down and down. Chantal, thank you for being honest. They pass down because there's alchemy, there's magic in storytelling, right? And there's this amazing book called A Course in Miracles. And A Return to Love was written by Marianne Williamson. And a quote from that was made famous by Nelson Mandela. He said, "Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Who am I to be brilliant, fabulous, and strong? Who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world." And it is one of my favorite quotes, because I think all of us resonate with that. Whether you believe God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, guys, all rivers lead to the same ocean for me, and there's no judgment. This space is open to all faiths. But the essence of that quote, we are all children of the universe, and we play small because we're scared to stand out. I'm asking you to step into a space where you're going to truly stand out. And I do this through storytelling. The reason why I'm telling you about A Course in Miracles is because they say that a miracle can be as simple as a change in perception. Wayne Dyer said it so beautifully. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change, right? And that in itself shifts our entire reality and our entire world. So over the 7 weeks, what I do is I take you on my journey of how I created these miracles in my life, how I allowed myself to reframe certain situations that then created a miracle in my life, and the tools that I gathered in order to support that miracle coming into being. And so the first week, we do a connection and we create the container. So I do something called spiritual medicine, which is harnessing universal unconditional love and pouring it through and out through me. And I do a process with you, connecting you to your guides, the universe, all the angels of the higher realms, all of the beautiful spirits and our ancestors that hold space for us for our transformation. And we make some agreements and we set some intentions. And it's so, so, so powerful because, Scott, you'll know this. When you make an agreement with yourself and you set an intention, that is the first step to actually triggering the change that you actually wish to see happening. And so that session is so, so, so powerful. Then the next session is about forgiveness, the power of forgiveness. And we really speak about how forgiveness is a gift to yourself. It's the thing that is going to set you free. And how do we go about coming to that point of forgiveness and releasing those things that we are carrying that no longer serve us? And guys, I promise you, I do understand there are times and places when you're ready for forgiveness, and there's no pushing. You will always do things in your own time, but you'll be amazed at the things that come up because of just being in the energetic container, that you start getting ready to forgive that you never thought that you would have been, or you get ready to release things that you never thought you would have been. Because I create a container for the entire group with all of your divine teams, I call them in, and my divine team, and our spirit guides, our spirit animals, all of the spirit world to hold you for that whole 7 weeks and beyond. And so you are so, so, so supported within the container, and you've got the community. Then the next week, we look at, okay, now we've released, we've created some space. Where is that spot that is the biggest pain point? Where is that biggest splinter that you really want to pull out and release? What is that one that is going to make the biggest difference for you now? Because quite often it's a ripple effect. As those of you who have done this work will understand that quite often when we just release that one splinter, there's a ripple effect into the other areas of our lives. Then we go deep into the dark night of the soul, and we really learn how to navigate, how to move through the dark night of a soul in a completely different way. And then the next week, we look at how we are going to be reborn into this new way of being, how we're going to walk differently, speak differently, think differently, feel differently. And that's because we've now released these almost, the way I see them in my mind is like these heavy blankets that have been holding us down. And we've now like stripped them off, and we can suddenly breathe for the first time in a different way. And how does that feel? How do we navigate that? And how do we really bring into embodiment the shifts and changes that we've gone through? So that's the journey that we go on. And then the last session, we come together just to share and just to connect. Every week, you will get a recorded module. So I channel. And so I'm not a coach. I don't like calling myself a coach. I'm a transformational facilitator. Some people call me a coach. I've been called a coach before, but really what I do is I facilitate and hold the space for transformation, right? And what I do is I channel, and then I also I've been studying healing since I was 15 years old, different modalities of healing. I did my first course, Alpha training course at 15, and then dragged my parents to go into it later. But I also have my first memory of actually doing a healing on someone when I was about 7 or 8 years old on a class camp. So my journey in this world is very long. I've been in it for a very, very long time, and I've done all kinds of different healing modalities. And so I combine the knowledge of everything that I've collected along the way, and also personal development. If any of you know me, you know that I'm the eternal student. So I'm constantly learning. I've always got coaches. I wouldn't feel right teaching unless I was also being the student. I'm just passing on things that are channeled through me and that I'm accumulating because I know that they'll empower you. And so the sessions are very much a mix of what's being channeled. And I basically, what I do whenever I record something is I go into the ether, into the universe, and I ask the universe and all of the guides to connect with anybody that is going to watch this live or recorded, and that they may get the right information to move them to their highest point of power for the highest good of all. And so you never have to worry that if you're watching something that was recorded a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, that it's not going to be relevant for you, because if it's arrived in front of you, listen to what is relevant for you, what resonates for you, and it will shift you to that space. Okay, so to recap, what's included in the course? Let's check it out. The first week, module 1, is all about creating the container. It is a sacred space that is created by me with all of you, with our divine teams, our guides, and the entire spirit world that supports us. Within this container, we go through the agreements, we set our intentions. You have an agreement with the group and me, an agreement with yourself. We speak about how to know thyself and do it on purpose, your commitment to change. And I take you through a spiritual medicine process, which feels like a guided visualization. This entire process just sets you up for success throughout the entire journey. Then we go into module 2. Module 2 is the power of forgiveness. Now remember, in order to create space for the new, we first have to release what no longer serves us. And there is such power in forgiveness. Nelson Mandela was asked why he forgave the people who put him in jail. And his response was, because if I hadn't forgiven them, I would have been walking in jail for the rest of my life. We go through the entire process. I've also added an additional bundle, which is just for you guys who do the course, which is the spiritual medicine process masterclass that prepares you for the power of forgiveness, plus a spiritual medicine process that you can use over and over again whenever you find yourself in that situation where you are battling to release and you need to step into a space of surrender and forgiveness and the alchemy that comes with that so that you can shift the situation. Module 3 is the dark night of the soul. This is where we go deep and we go down into the dark night of the soul and understand the root of your dis-ease of the mind, dis-ease of the body, dis-ease of the heart, dis-ease of the spirit. What is that core wound that you're wanting to release? Discover your trigger points. Identify where you have experienced your personal breaking points. Be reminded of the light at the end of the tunnel and embracing the bittersweet gift of this too shall pass. This is so powerful and will set you up to move through any challenge that comes your way with less suffering and more grace and ease. Module 4, know thyself and the wheel of life. This is where we become very, very clear about what we want to change in your unique priority order. This will be just for you. Get in touch with what you feel like you want to experience in your life. What are these changes? Identify the actions you need to take to make the changes into your new reality. You create a letter of commitment to yourself and the universe, which is also such a powerful process. And then you fill out your wheel of life. And this can be done numerous times whenever you want, but it's also a very powerful visual process. Then we will go within the space. The codependency trap. Oh my goodness. Breaking the codependency trap is something that 96% of the planet struggle with. So you're not alone. We're all codependent in varying degrees. We discover the root of the problem that was buried underneath the root that we thought was the problem. Moving through pain in a new way, discovering a new level of compassion, and the birth of your self-love journey. Module 6, Death and the Decision. True surrender. What is true surrender? Realizing the impossible is possible. Finally, diagnosing the actual problem, the power of universal healing, and making the decision. How all of these steps really created the foundation for a complete rebirth to happen for me. And I know that if you go through these steps, that they can do the same for you too. A rebirth, releasing the victim, embracing a new me, eat, sleep, exercise, meditate, speak differently, live differently. When the challenge appears, how do we move through it now? The true healer is revealed and fulfilling a promise. That is week 7, and we will end off with a live Q&A session. Also included in the course is a bunch of bonuses, and here they are. Let me show you them visually. Okay, so on top of the 7 weeks of masterclasses, weekly masterclasses, and the live Q&A sessions, we've also got access to the recordings for 1 full year. This is provided that you guys finish doing the course within 3 months. I do this to hold you accountable because I'm not interested in shelf development. I want you guys to really achieve what you are setting out to achieve. And so I'm going to make you accountable for joining this course. So if you do all the work, if you complete the modules within 3 months, then you will have access to it for a full year. Otherwise, next year, you're going to have to start again. I will give you a full comprehensive workbook plus additional printable bonuses like the 5 agreements PDF, which is really, really valuable. Full color, my Wheel of Life PDF printout, which you can use over and over again. The drama triangle printout, which is also just from a visual perspective is so powerful. A comprehensive reading list of all of the books that I think would really support your journey, that really supported my journey in creating the course as well. The Power of Forgiveness bundle, including the Power of Forgiveness live talk recording, the Power of Forgiveness preparation masterclass, the Power of Forgiveness spiritual medicine process, which is you can also use over and over again. You will also get Expanding Love, Joy, and Gratitude spiritual medicine bundle, which will include the Love, Joy, Gratitude preparation masterclass and the Love, Joy, and Gratitude spiritual medicine process. Again, this is something that can be used every single day to expand love, joy, and gratitude in your life. You will also gain access to my private Facebook group and my private WhatsApp group. And all of that, the value of all of that, I thought it was $555, but I went back and I looked at all that I've included, and the value is actually $7,679. That is the value of what you will be getting, of the bundle, of all of the different assets that I've added in to create the most beautiful experience for you doing Kintsukuroi Me. And I'm going to be offering it to you at the insane price. Yes, completely insane price of $555. That is what your investment will be, and you will get all of the things that I have included for you. Plus, for those of you that want to do the mini manifestation course afterwards, which I highly recommend, the two go hand in hand so, so beautifully. I am again going to give you so much value. I love giving you guys value. So what I'm going to include for that is 4 masterclasses. This includes the introductory talk, plus 3 masterclasses. So the whole process you would do over a month. What is in those masterclasses is the 5 essential keys to manifestation, the 5 saboteurs and how to spot them so that they don't win, how to raise your vibrational frequency so that you start getting more of what you want with minimal effort. This is so much fun, guys. It really is a fun game to play. Plus, you will receive 21 daily 1 to 3 minute long videos. These are activations and inspirational videos to guide you and trigger the master manifester that lies within each and every one of you. I also add as a bonus a somatic center, release, and step into empowerment process that you can use when you are feeling flustered, when you are feeling out of power, not in alignment with yourself, when you are feeling sad, when you need to just pull yourself together and step into a powerful place. This is the process that really, really works. It's beautiful and so effective. You will also have access to weekly live Q&As, access to my private Facebook group, and access to the private WhatsApp group. Now, all of that value is $4,699. And I'm giving it both courses to you. I actually am insane. Scott is 100% correct. Guys, I am insane to give this to you guys at this price. $667. Yes, I added $1 because I don't like the number 666. So I've made it 667. And I will give you all of that. That will be included. I'm so excited to support you on this journey. I hope that makes sense. Scott, yeah? So one recorded session a week and one live session a week. One recorded and one live.
So I mean, what is it basically like a 2 to 3 hour commitment per week?
It is about a 2 to 3 hour commitment a week. And I always say, like, I will take the horse to water. It's up to you how thirsty you are. It really is. You can have a sip of water. And just by being a part of the group and being on the journey and not doing any of the work, but just by being there, I promise you, you will experience some shifts. But if you decide to arrive and be that thirsty horse that just gulps up all the water, you are going to experience profound shifts, but it's up to you.
So I've got a question for people. If they want to surround themselves with people who set your soul on fire, and if you think that Susanna has that ability, I've seen her in action, so I know she does, but I'll let your intuition with regards to that. You know, I think this is such an incredible gift for people that you're sharing with people, and also I resonate again with the timing of the fact that you're doing it. So what do we do? How do we join? Basically, what are the next steps? How does someone participate, and when are we getting started? And yeah, let's get to the nitty gritty. I'm an action taker, so I want to get started.
Okay, so Anastasia, if you can pop the sign up link in the chat. For those of you on Instagram, you can go into the link in my bio, or you can DM me and I will send you the link. And I was just thinking, so this course, first of all, guys, it's over 7 weeks, and I've spoken to so many coaches and people about the price point of this course, and they all think it should be $5,555 because of the gravity of it and what you get in it. I want as many people as possible to have access to it. So I've made it $555, which is a huge, huge, huge reduction in price. But I want you guys to be able to have access to it. What I decided, though, right now in our session, Scott, is for those of you that want to sign up for this and the mini manifestation course. The mini manifestation course is usually $222. I also make that one super affordable. I'll give you all of it for $666, so that you get $100 off. So if anybody wants to do both, we'll do this one, and then you can start the year with mini manifestation next year. Yeah. And you can make direct payments as well. Anastasia, please will you also put bank details in? So if you guys want to pay via PayPal, you can click on the link that Anastasia has popped into the chat now. And if you would like to pay directly with banking details, like an EFT, you can you can use the banking details. Anastasia, are you on it? Okay, I will pull that up. And
Hi, Susanna. Yes, I'm on it. I'm just finding all the details and then I'll pop them in a second.
okay, cool. Thank you.
I think also if anyone's listening to the recording, just click below on because obviously if you're not live, you can't see the chat box. So just click below in terms of the links will be below.
And then should we make that special offer for 24 hours, Scott? Get people excited.
Yeah, so I think it's one of these things where, you know, it's so interesting. Back to that pain point, people sit on the fence, and that's why I mean, for me personally, when I make a decision, so there's two things people need to make a decision on here. One is where do they want to be at Christmas, and that's why I gave them kind of two opportunities to kind of consider it. And the second is, it's really important if you're committing to kind of make the emotional commitment to actually do it, because I think a lot of people sometimes sign up, et cetera, et cetera. And I think if you believe that Susanna, can hold the energy, which I know for a fact she can, I'm certainly looking forward to being part of it. I'll keep my mouth shut. But the point being is that, but on a serious note, like now's the time, in terms of, setting it up. So I like the fact that you take away the offer as well, because it's really, you're setting people up for success. You're helping them go into that cave and find the treasure this side of Christmas. And early next year, you're helping people manifest the life they want. You add to that, and particularly from our wealth hacker community, you add to that the other things that we're offering people. And I mean, you're just going to make 2025 the most magical year for yourself. But I suppose you get to decide if you want your year to be the same as 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or if you want to make a geometric shift. And I think from Susanna's perspective, she's offering you a gift to participate. And, I'm on it already. I've already committed. And I think one of the most important things in life is that if you want to create things in life, it's that whole be, do, have. You have to be the person, you have to do the things, and then you're going to have. And everyone always wants the having part, but they're not the being and the doing part. And for me, I've spent my whole year and, being the person I want to be and doing the things I need to do. And this is a good example of something that I am doing, and I'm offering it as a gift to all of you to do it so that you can have the things you want, which is super, super important.
Yeah, I think that is super important. I think that we forget that these little decisions actually shift our lives completely. They what we call different timelines are actually like those sliding door moments in time where you either get on the train or you don't get on the train. And the ripple effect of that is so massive into the rest of your life. And what I really want is for you guys to understand that this is one of those sliding door moments, and it's completely up to you. I always say that if you don't do it with me, please go do it. I would love you to do it with me. I know that I have the ability to hold your hand in a very unique way and create a container that is transformational in a very unique way. But I also just want you to step into a space of love and abundance. And so I love what Wealth Hackers is doing as well. And guys, for everyone that is watching on Instagram, I am going to be doing a conversation with Scott around Wealth Hackers and what they bring to this world, because it is profound. So look out for that. Thrive is coming back. So Scott will be our first guest on Thrive, and he will be a regular on Thrive, which I'm super, super excited about. And he too is about expanding love on this planet. And I think we're very, very much aligned in our mission. Jane, regarding the time frame of the course, what dates does it start and end? Also, what time of the day? So because I think we are mainly in South Africa, where in the world is everybody tuning in from? Let me just quickly get a sense of that. I'm thinking on a Monday night. So we do a Monday magic evening where we get together and we have a Q&A session, essay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Brilliant. And so we'll do a Monday night at 7 o'clock, so that you guys can have gotten dinner and kids out the way, hopefully by 7 o'clock. And we can sit together and have just an hour together. And then I will also release one module then every Monday. So you'll be able to, we'll have the Q&A, and then you'll get the first module, and we'll go like that from week to week. The course value in rands is 9,990, and for both it's 10,800. So yeah, that's a really good discount. KZN, KZN.
I mean, just to put in perspective, I paid what, $15,000 to go and do something similar with Tony Robbins, and you know, extraordinary amounts of money to fly overseas. In the old days, you had to get on airplanes and go and fly to a place to do this stuff, and now you get to do it from the comfort of your couch with a like-minded community. I think, Susanna, I often share with the wealth hackers, but there's three things that stop most people. The first one is that I don't have the time, and I tend to say to someone, well, if you can't invest sort of 2 hours for the next 7 weeks to really help your life take off going into 2025, then, honestly, I don't really know what else to say to you. And so, for me, where there's a will, there's a way. Find the time, make the time. If this is important to you, if you want to be, if you really will kind of want to, the metaphor that Suzanne and I were talking about, like imagine an eagle and it's that wind beneath your wings, like literally, like it's time to fly and stop hanging around on the floor and complaining with the chickens, like fly with the eagles now. And so, for me, about time. The second one for me is a lesson I learned a long time ago from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where someone says, I don't have the money. And it's like, well, poor people think like that. Poor people think I don't have the money. They consistently got excuses. Bankrupt people say, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. But the question is, how can I? Like what, how can I find a way to make it a reality? And I know I've done that many times in my life where literally I had no idea how I could make it happen. But if something is meant to be, and if you can feel it in your heart, and by the way, I'm not giving you a sales pitch here. Your intuition's telling you whether this is right or wrong. I do this all the time. I meet someone like Susanna, I'm like, right, I got to do this course. And my most I paid was like $50,000 to go to Fiji with Tony Robbins. And I was like, right, I got to do this. And in my heart, I was like, okay, wow, I know I got to do this, but like I don't know where I'm getting $50,000. And the point being is I figured out a way to find the $50,000, and I went on to make that money many, many times over. And my mother to this day still thinks I'm mad. But the point of the story is that where there's a will, there's a way. And if your intuition's telling you, then you'll find that way. And I don't know if Susanna has an affiliate program or something like that, but if people, if you're resourceful, there's always a way. So, for me, that second option is just not an option. And the third one is that people say they don't have the knowledge. And for me, this space is one that I've found the most difficult. Like I manifested material things in my life at a young age, houses, cars, whatever. But going inside, like the human approach, like that was impossible for me. Like how the hell do you like visualize happiness, like as an example, all those. And what I like about what you've done is you've put together a systematic and logical way to bring like-minded people together so that they can create that environment they want in their life. So again, I didn't have the knowledge. I've spent 25 years in the personal development space. I've spent so much money. And so for me to come along and pay $500 or $50 or whatever to get the best, like to be honest, I just want to make sure that people don't confuse value with the price. Does that make sense? Because honestly, and Susanna and I'll be having a private conversation about money, but the next time this course will be $5,000 plus. But so take advantage now, because honestly, I've played on the global stage. She's a global player, and you deserve to be paying a global price, but she's giving it to you because of the kindness of her heart. And I just can't overemphasize that. Like, don't underestimate the value you're going to get and the opportunity that she's presenting you.
Thank you for that, Scott. Yeah, I am launching a mastermind next year, and that will be $7,777. And everybody's shouted at me for the price that I'm giving this course to people. But and you're right. I'm so blessed that I have been able to speak on stage with some of the best people in the world, including you, Scott. But the real success stage, as you guys know, is an international stage. It's not the only one that I've spoken on, but Tony Robbins, John DeMartini, Robin Banks, Paul O'Mahony, all of these big global players, they are on that stage. Les Brown, all of them. And I feel so honored and privileged to have shared a stage with these incredible individuals. But I really also know that this specific course needs to be accessible to a lot of people, like mass audience. I want as many people as possible to suffer as little as possible and to expand love as quickly as possible. And we can only expand love once we have learned to relieve ourselves of the suffering that we are holding inside. And so, proof of payment. Anastasia, won't you share the details there? Thank you, Sammy. Yay, welcome on board. So I am super excited that people are signing up for my mastermind that will launch next year. That's how to be absolutely unstoppable in all areas of your life. And I'll tell you about that next year. But for now, this is the grounding detail. This is the base. This is the foundations that you need in order to take yourself to the next level. So I really am excited for those of you that are joining, and I see that there are lots of payments and questions coming through. So yay, welcome. And to everybody on Instagram, for those of you who do want to join, I'm so sorry that I can't share the details directly with you here unless I go off Instagram, but please DM me and I will share the details with you there. Scott, is there anything else? Are there any
I think
questions?
there's one last, I think there is one last thing that I think is really relevant. If you've already joined, congratulations. And, I look forward to being part of the community and going on this journey with Susanna. So, I mean, well done. I think it'll be fantastic. And if you're sitting on the fence, do what I did, because I'd already made my decision after watching those 3 testimonials. If you're sitting on the fence and you watch those 3 testimonials, and again, goosepimples when I say this, and if you watch those 3 testimonials and it doesn't resonate with you, then don't do the course. Like literally, I 100% agree. But if you commit to just watching those 3 testimonials and it speaks to your soul, then find a way.
Yeah. And you're so right, where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I almost died 10 years ago. And when I healed, I was sick for over 2 years. And so I didn't earn money for a year and a half of that time. And all my money went into medical bills and it just like evaporated really, really quickly. And then I decided I wanted to do a course. And I had exactly, guys, if I tell you, the course was 5,600 Rand. And I had 6,000 Rand in my bank account. That's what I had left. Do you think that I chose to do the course or not? I did. I did the course because I knew that the course that I was going to do was something that was very important in my step of healing, in my step towards becoming what I wanted to experience myself as, to stepping into that version of myself. So I did it. I mean, when I was so sick that I couldn't even walk, literally couldn't walk, had a mask on, and I got my dad to drive me to another course, and I literally lay there. And while they instructed, it was a Qigong course, so it's very physical. While they instructed the people, I lay there and visualized everything that they were doing because I couldn't physically do it myself. Trust me, if there's a will, there's a way. How determined are you to experience yourself as somebody who is limitless, who can heal themselves, who can step into a space where you truly are happy for yourself? One of my favorite, and I don't think you saw it, Scott, but one of my favorite testimonials was by Daphne. She was a client of mine. She was a student and then she became a private client of mine. But she said, I used to always be happy for other people. After doing this course and working with Susanna, I'm now happy for myself. And I love that. I mean, it literally to this day, it gives me goosebumps. The fact that how many of you can resonate with that you feel so happy for other people. And wouldn't it be wonderful to feel happy for yourself, to celebrate yourself, to feel like you do deserve all these good things that are happening for you? That's what I want for each and every one of you.
Well, I think that's, I mean, what a wonderful way to finish off. And just to remind everyone that there are recorded sessions, there are live sessions, and they start on Monday, to my knowledge.
Yes.
Now, just for the Wealth Hacker community, you have to thank Susanna because she wanted to start 2 weeks ago. I was like, no, you can't start. Like, people are complaining they couldn't get online, they needed access. Like, we got to give them a bit more time to sign up. but there's no time now because if you take Christmas and you work backwards, like 7 weeks is so it's starting on Monday. So I mean, not only do you have the opportunity to do the mini manifestation, but most importantly, you get to join Susanna. I'll be there live for the next 7 weeks, in terms of that process. And yep, now is the time. And so, Susanna, I really appreciate your time and well done for sharing. And I leave you with one final question. Talk to us about expanding love and your purpose on the planet.
I really think, Scott, that there is only two things. There's love and fear, right? And our purpose here is to expand love. If we can move through life and in every decision that we make, literally make the decision based on, is this going to expand love? Is this going to make things better, happier, richer for me and everyone else involved? Or is it going to contract love? Is it going to harm? Is it going to create dissonance? And you just base every decision on that. You know you're going to be going in the right direction. With spiritual medicine, which is something that we can all harness, by the way, and I teach how to do that on a Wednesday live every week, is channeling this divine source energy through us, this unconditional love, and out into the universe. I'm doing it. I've been doing it, by the way, while we've been online now. I just do it naturally. So when you're in my presence, I'm transferring spiritual medicine to you, but it is just expanding that love. What can we do in every little moment of every day that is going to expand love on this planet? These kind gestures, these little acts of kindness that seem so random can change someone's life. And I know this out of experience. Like I once allowed somebody to crash on my couch. It was supposed to be for 2 nights, ended up being for 2 weeks. And to this day, I get messages from this person just saying, you won't believe what that did for me. That it gave me so much just knowing that I was held and I could be in the safe space for that time. There's so many little things. You make a difference. You make a difference by your choices and your actions. You make a difference. And I believe that is our like right as human beings. Our purpose is to expand love on this planet. And you can be, the light that you seek in this world. You can be the light that you seek in this world. People say that you get cracked to let the light in. I believe that we get cracked to let our light out. You already are that light. Embrace it, step into it boldly. I can't wait to see what each and every one of you do and bring to this planet. And I'm sending you so much gratitude for spending this time with me and Scott. And I want to say thank you so much to Scott for being my co-host here today and asking me such beautiful, relevant questions and also sharing so vulnerably. It's been so beautiful sharing time with you. It just makes me even more excited, by the way, about Thrive and what we're going to be doing with Thrive, because I know it's going to empower people in such a beautiful, beautiful way.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. And I look forward to going on this journey with you over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, we've got one more question that's just come through. Can you join the course if you miss a session? Yes, all the sessions will be recorded, but only those of you that are in this course, in this container, will get the replays of the Q&As. So the Q&A replays are not available to anybody else that has been through Kintsukuroi Me, because they are just for this group so that it maintains that integrity and that little container. But the recordings of the sessions will be available, and then the recordings of the Q&As will be available, but only to our container. I hope that helps.
Awesome. See you all there. And remember, 2 choices, Christmas, pain or pleasure, which one do you want?
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love and blessings to you all.
Cheers, man. Bye then.
Bye, bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoying a lovely sense of peace right now. Yay. Thank you, Susanna and Scott. Very powerful and appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Ilda. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Tamelo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love, guys. Maureen, thank you. Okay. Bye, guys. Anybody who wants to do the course but also wants to bring along some friends, I have a bonus for you. If you bring 3 friends, you can do the course for free. So if you bring 3 extra people to join in, you get to do the course absolutely free. Plus, if you'd like to be an affiliate for the program, you can earn 25% of whatever sales you make of the course. So you can share this video with all of your friends, all of your community, because at the end of the day, that is one way to really expand love, is to give other people the opportunity to invest in themselves and to be the light that they wish to see in the world. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to my team. I look forward to connecting. Lots of love.